right, so this afternoon we're going to go through some important points for homes, new homeowners. One of them is a garbage disposal. A lot of young homeowners don't know that there's a reset button on the bottom or on the side of their garbage disposal. It's typically a little red button, and this is 80% of why garbage disposals don't work. It needs to be pushed in and reset, and it's either on the side or it'll be up underneath here. And if your garbage disposal gets stuck and doesn't spin, it's nice to throw a little bit of vegetable oil down your garbage disposal once a month or every 3 months or every other month. Just put a little bit of oil in there so it gets the blades that are in there to keep them lubricated and loose. And that's about 95% of a garbage disposal problem. This is a ground fault circuit interrupter. The code says they have to be within 6 feet of water. So you'll typically find these in all bathrooms, exterior outlets, and also in the kitchen on the counters. The green light indicates that there's power, and it is to interrupt your electricity. If something was plugged in here and fell into the sink, it would short itself out, and then the button would go off. And there's 2 buttons here that indicate, one will say test, and the other says reset. And then you also have an indicator light here, and this is very typical. So if you have no power to your outlets and it looks like this, go ahead and reset it. You get a green light, you should have power. You should be back in business. We're in the utility room, which is the busy room in a house. We have a pressure regulator, which regulates the pressure coming in from the city supply water. We have a shutoff here, which shuts the water off to the house if you have a leak. So this is, if you have any leaks in your house, first thing to do is come in here and turn this lever 90 degrees so that it shuts the water off. Okay. Next we have the water is coming into the hot water heater, which is right here. And this one also has an expansion tank and a lever here, which is a ball valve to turn 90 degrees to shut the water off to the hot water tank. If this was leaking, you can shut it off right here. If it leaks anywhere else in the house, you can shut off here. Also on an electric water heater, there's 2 covers. Underneath the covers are heating elements. The upper element also has a thermostat setting in it. So if you want to increase or decrease the heat of your water heater, you need to remove these 2 screws, and inside there's a little slotted stem that you'll increase or decrease. But before you open this cover up, be sure to unplug or turn the power off to your electric hot water heater. The next thing I want to show and talk about in this room is natural gas. This particular home, the only gas feature is this furnace. This furnace is also equipped with a shutoff. This too just gets turned 90 degrees and it will shut the gas off. So if you smell the odor of gas in your house, you can shut it off here. If you continue to smell gas, we'll walk outside and take a look at the meter and how to turn that off next. Now we're going to get into the particular furnace and filters. These are the filters that we use for construction because they get nice and dusty. You have numerous grades that you can buy up to HEPA filter levels. On the side, the labels will tell you when you go to the store, you're going to need to buy for this furnace 16 by 25, 1 inch thick. And the arrow shows the airflow direction. So this furnace is an upflow furnace because it gets air from out here, returns it into a plenum box, and goes through. So the filter is going to go through this way. And on this particular furnace, our filter box is down here. We lift it up and we can pull it straight out right here. As you can see, we're in need of changing the filter because it's a construction job. So we're going to go ahead and replace it with a new one so that we're good to go and we'll be in good shape. So I can get it in these slots. There we go. And then it just slides back in, and then this cover goes down and you dispose of them. These things, this is the cheaper version because it's a construction site, So we don't spend a lot of money on it because we know we're going to get them dirty and throw them away. So during the process of building this house, we'll probably go through 3 or 4 of these filters. So these are probably $1.50 each, and you can go up from there. This is our panel where all the power comes into the house, and by code, your house will be listed here on the meter base here. It tells you everything that each particular circuit is tied to. So the deal is, one side doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have an even side and an odd side as far as circuit breakers go. So when you're on one side, you're going to see 1, 3, 5, 9, etc. The other side, you'll see 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. And you'll have the double pole, which is the 2-space breakers, which are your larger items in the house, like the air conditioner, the dryer, the range, the heater, and then everything else gets busted down to, like we looked at earlier in this exercise, GFIs. That's for your bathrooms, and we have them on the kitchen counters and exterior, and everything's listed. Smoke detector circuits are separate. Smoke detector circuits are hardwired and battery backed up. And if you look at a breaker, when they're in like this to the center, they're not tripped. I'm going to go ahead and throw a breaker. I don't know which one it is, but if you look here, you'll see how the breakers are. This one is different now. That means that I'll have to look at this number closely. That's number 16. So we'll look over here. What does number 16 say? Can you read it?
Yeah.
It's the bathroom GFCI. So if we were to go back into the bathroom, that circuit would not work because this breaker is tripped. So anytime you have a plug in a bedroom, a hallway, a living room, and it isn't working, and we know that those plugs are not GFCI'd, it's probably a breaker. And all you need to do is walk out here and throw the breaker back and go back and your plug should be functioning. So you need to be familiar with this and understand there's a number that's stamped in the steel that relates to each breaker. And on both sides, it'll be there, okay? And each breaker, these breakers can go bad over time. So sometimes you don't need to have a whole house replaced. Electrically speaking, you can remove this panel and get a certified electrician to get in here because the power coming into the house is a lot and can really damage you. So there is a main shut off here for the whole house. This just kills the house entirely. So anytime you get in this box, you just kill this box right here. Everything is dead. All right, you'll still have some power coming into the strips, but the box going out won't get you. Okay. All right, so we have a hardwired battery backup smoke detector circuit in the house. We also have carbon monoxide detectors placed where needed. At Habitat, we put an extra carbon monoxide detector because of the design of the homes. We put one in the utility room because it's adjacent to the garage. The code says you got to have them by the bedrooms for sure. So I say I'd rather spend the extra few dollars and put one in the utility room also. Typically, you can hit a button and it's going to turn the circuit on and it'll start going. I think ours is off, but we have a battery backup here. We haven't hooked up our system yet, but once I pull this tape, you'll see this is how you'd remove a 9-volt battery so that you can replace. We'll reload this to where it slides in here, push it in all the way, push it up. You'll see this light blink every now and then. And right here is an also push to hold to test and push to. So our system hasn't been completely hooked up. We've left them covered because of the dust and things created during the construction phase. All right, so this is the outside gas meter where it comes up into the house. There's a bladder in here, and sometimes you can smell gas out here at the meter. And if you smell gas outside, the thing to do is see where this this lever is with this hole. This is when you don't pay your gas bill, they'll lock it with a special lock. So you see the gas is on. So to shut this gas off, I have adjustable pliers. It's not the most desirable tool, but it does work. So you just turn it down like this to where you can lock that up, and then that's off. So we're gonna go back on, 90 degrees up. So the gas is flowing through here, and this bladder keeps the pressure. So we have seamless gutters on our houses here. And this is a downspout. We preferably, we like the larger diameter downspouts because it allows more water to come off of the roof and away from things quicker. So these come in two different sizes. We prefer the larger size. We've got it turned out because we want to direct the water away from the house. It's very important that the footings don't get eroded from the bottom. So anytime with any gutter downspout off of any part of the house, when it's all done, you should have some extensions at least 3 to 5 feet from your house to direct the water a little further away from your footings. Therefore, if you don't see water coming down your gutter downspouts, which will probably mean that your gutters need to be cleaned. And the fall is a good time because of the leaks and their major plugs. So you have to get a ladder, get up there and clean that, or there are other tools that you can buy, a hose adapter with a hook, and you can